see. So we're on YouTube. Spotlight, right? Okay, so you won't bother if somebody speaks. Should be focused on host. Let me see. Spotlight. Okay. See that? Okay, good. Okay. So today we're going to continue work on this leftover copy of Tang Yin, the poet riding on a donkey back. Those poetic thoughts. I just retouched some of the foliage with ink, and I will work on some little trees on the distant middle ground next, I think. So you can work on yours if you haven't finished. Anybody finished that? Not yet, huh? Oh, I think Ping Huang, she finishes it.
And I finished mine also.
Oh,
I don't know how to. I don't know how to upload it to show you. So.
Lisa, who's
Susan.
Susan.
I still don't know how to upload to you. I'm going to have to talk to you offline, I guess. So.
Let me show you. Are you on the online class in the class? Do you have an account? Oh, okay, good.
Well, actually I went to go use it, but it's.
Okay, let me show you how to do it right now, so everybody can see. Let me share quickly the classroom. So we go to ChineseBrushPainting.com. You can open another window, Susan. Let me show you where to post, how to do that. Are you using a PC or other device? Let me see. Okay, if you go to the website, you will see the homepage like this, and then I have this class on landscape. Okay, and you can open a discussion for all your works or for each lesson if you like. So here's my lesson notes and replays, handouts, etc. This is the student work. So Susan, you didn't have a discussion page yet, right? So if you're new to this group, you click on add a discussion and put your name and class, if you will, or you just put all your. Some people prefer to put all the lessons. This is what I would recommend. Just put all your lessons under one page. I think Daisy did that, or not Daisy. Who maybe Susan did that, right?
I did.
Susan Tabush, yeah. Let's look at yours. I think let's yes. So somebody just posted with each post create a new discussion. But I think it's easier. Like I think Sylvia, she's following my recording. You know, she put all her work under one discussion, so I can see all the progress.
Oh.
Yeah, so that you just reply your own discussion. I think that's easier to, you know, just put all your assignments, homework together. Okay, Susan Tabush is a good example. So we have from lesson 1, the rocks, So I give critique under it. So when you post the new painting, you go to the last page, and then you create a reply to this. There's a form like here. You can add a new picture right from here. Just reply to your top discussion. So I will respond to you. You know, that's to reply. You can reply to me. So this is easy, easiest way to do it. So you understand? And
Will I have access to go onto this page? I did on our last class, but I don't know that I have access now.
Okay. I'll do it later to verify that,
Okay.
but not
Okay.
not in the group class.
Okay. Well, thank you. This helps a lot. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let's look at, by the way, some homeworks we got for this current lesson. So Emily is she's doing very solid homework. I give her 5 stars. Actually, I give on this one for the early class. This is more complete. Yeah, that's detail. Although she didn't do the ink tones, but this is a calligraphic practice. Just the strokes it helps. Yeah. So it's very good on the double pine tree assignment. And this one is half done, but I'm very impressed by, or inspired by the result she's getting.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
See how harmonious the ink tones and variations, you know, contrast, everything looks very good.
Can I ask a question? Are the ink tones pure ink, or is there some white in them?
Emily, I think you added some indigo, right?
I warmed it up a little bit. We finished. I used time for the tulips. Can I come back and do that for you tomorrow or the next day?
Sure. Let me see. Let me mute everybody owning the speaker talks.
Ran out of time.
Whatever works for you.
So I'll be in touch with you. I'm thinking tomorrow afternoon. I think it's Saturday, really.
Who's talking?
It's probably the best bet. It won't take me long. Maybe it won't take me.
I have to go.
Right.
That's
all right. So
I'll tell you.
Okay, Emily, you can unmute. Okay.
I used a mixture of indigo and ink.
I can see. I thought it was the blue ink, but not so blue. The blue ink actually is still black. Yeah, it's good to have that cool color on the rock and contrast with the warm foliage. Very effective. I like that. Very good.
I like the pale ink. I tend to make things too dark. And
yeah, that's all this painting is teaching us. So to treat the ink as a color with different values, at least maybe 5, on the scale of from very dark to very light. Yeah. So that as long as you have the 5 tones, it should work. The original may have, depends on the version of the digital painting, a digital copy. Some too dark, they made it too contrast. So you don't have to go that dark. There's a version that's maybe more closer to the original, which is the brown one, the PNG one, I think. Yeah. So let's look at some other. Let me see. I got some other finished work I want to show everybody. It's very encouraging. Let me see. I think Ping did one. Let me see, where's the Ping's practice? That's good. Okay. Yeah, this is good that you put everything under one discussion, so it's easier to find. Let's share the screen. Okay, so let's. She joined halfway, but she's doing very good. This is the second from last version. I found there's a missing distant mountain, which is very hard to detain on the original. Actually, you can see a little bit there, right? On above the waterfall and also above this middle mountain. She did that exactly like the original. So that's the remote mountain. And I really like this left side, the tonal change, the arid perspective, give a sense of air. So very good. I think if you want, you can still go back to add to make the foliage a little, instead of just yellow and white here, you could have something similar to the front tree, but maybe not exactly like this. So I like the soft yellow, but it's a little bit maybe too
bright.
What do you think? Yeah, if you want to blend in, it's more like the front tree. Maybe this should be considered the one. You could have a little more yellow, maybe, but this just too popping up. This, I have different feeling on different days. Forgive me. Although I gave you 5-star already.
That's an artist, right? Yeah. So you think the yellow should be subdued a little bit?
Yeah. I like this subtle, this front tree, and it should be in the same. Yeah, just simplify it. Just make it to look similar to this front tree.
Okay.
Actually, you will make it more dominant. The front tree would actually. I see the branches on this front tree maybe extended. Somehow I think on the original this is the idea. So you can keep you can have a little more yellowish on this part, but I think it will make it more integral part of the whole picture. Otherwise, this one looks unfinished, does it? Yeah.
Unfinished?
I mean, it looks like unfinished. Yeah, just need more depth. You can add a little like a brown, gray ink. I don't know what you used. Let me see. Let me just look at the details. And now we can see. Oops. Oh, that's
so the front tree should be add more brownish to it, make it darker.
I think something like this group, like here on the corner here, something like this result like this would be good to some here, but more in the back here. This yellow could be subdued to this one, like this. See this?
Like a brownish, more brownish, right?
Yeah, but it's yellower than the other part of this tree, right? It could be a little yellower than this front one. So because this could be a second one, but in the same kind. In Chinese painting, we have series as color according to kinds, but the kinds could include different individual trees, same kind of tree. So I think, just some variation. It's a good, even just like this neighboring group, it just make it more or less the same, because they look the same, unless you have different foliage, like you're using here. I think the rouge one has a different leaflets, right? We
Yeah.
call this
Right.
locust tree, right? Locust. I forgot the name of this tree. 槐树, right?
Okay, so just make this yellow and a brownish one.
I mean, basically the
almost
same as
similar
this front one.
color.
Yeah, you are an artist. You are.
Same. Mhm.
Yeah, I think as long as you make it a little muted, maybe.
Okay.
This yellow just because in Western painting, you use this on the very shining part, like a lit crown part. In Chinese painting, we rarely use the concept of the light. So to be this much light is a little bit
Too much.
jumping, popping, too a little bit too pop, too. Let me see. Maybe someone like it. Any other opinion? If you just like the way it is, let us know. Any comments on this?
I think
It needs to be more integrated.
That's what I
Yeah.
suggest.
Yeah, maybe a little yellow ochre,
Yeah.
beneath
Brownish.
certain parts, just to make it like it is a shadow, kind of.
Yeah.
But
You need
not
the shady part. Yeah.
just little
Looks flat. Yeah.
like
Okay. Just more consolidated.
Thank
in other
you.
words. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you all.
Thank you for the suggestions.
Foliage is so beautiful when you do the detail. The little leaves are so nice.
Yeah, you can make the white part maybe more grayish. Just leave the leaf part. The other way, to think is because there's some white, like unpainted paper. There's it should be filled in maybe with some brown. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay.
Okay. And another question on this, I use a 9-inch times 18-inch. Is that, I think it may be too small for this painting, right? What do you suggest?
I think the original is something like a 19 by 27.
Mm-hmm. So
Yours is 19 by 14 or by 11? Anyway.
no, 9 by 18.
9 by 18.
9-inch by 18. It's a kind of small.
I think that's the size I'm working on my table. Yeah.
9-inch
I think it's
by
a
18
little too
inch.
small, so you cannot get every detail as the original. You have to omit some to be selective. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Same. That's the size I'm working on here. Right.
I used to use smaller paper, but I don't know. Should I use
if you use larger
bigger
paper, it's
one?
better. I think the advantage of Chinese painting is the larger size, usually bigger than watercolor paper. Even the smallest paper we use is bigger than watercolor.
Okay.
So you
Thank
can
you.
use the larger ones. Yeah. Basically, for flower painting, we try to do the flowers, birds in life size. In landscape, we have to reduce the scale. I mean, but you try to paint, landscape with more depth, as perspective.
Thank you.
Let me see if any other. We have Charlene. Charlene, are you there? Let me see Charlene's work. Let me show you.
that is amazing. Erlene's and Emily's.
Yeah, this one is finished, signed, done. I think she's still.
Oh my goodness.
She probably will add the distance. I promised her to show her what to do. Charlene, if you're ready, I'm going to do this part with you. In this,
Okay.
Okay. I think your foliage is more compared to Pink's. It's more finished. You can see it's very dense, right? Very
Very tiny.
tiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe painting
Yeah.
just need more ink work to make it more. Yeah, just more.
Okay, yeah, it's more
defined.
harmonic, I would
Yeah.
say, right?
Yeah,
I will
yours a
learn
little
from
loose.
this one.
Right. Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
You can see there's no space left in between the leaves. Yeah, but we have a lot of black showing. You know the behind. Oh, you see the black rock through the holes here. I wish I can get that. All this. It's so far the most finished work. I think Shani, you omitted the entrance, but that's okay. You don't have to be exactly like that. But I think this gives the flow of the water more natural. I think. Yeah.
Entrance.
So yeah. So the entrance is here.
Beautiful.
It's on the left side. Actually, yeah. We consider this is the entrance. The wood gatherer on the bridge. Yeah. So you enter from the left and go through this bridge to the trail going up. And someone asked last night about how to read the Chinese painting. Is there a story? I don't think there's any particular way to read it. By reading, we're not mean to read the inscriptions or the poems. You just read like a calligraphy. You follow the strokes, and then try to recreate the process of painting in your mind, and just appreciate the strokes. Yeah. I think this could be only appreciated by those who actually copy it. If you didn't study, you won't be able to to read as good as those who have tried first-handedly. So yeah, I think your interpretation is just amazing. You have more northern texture strokes here. I think that's good. He combines the hemp and the X cut in one single stroke, but you kind of combine them side by side, or it's all okay. I think as long as you create a harmony between the northern and southern styles. Yeah, I really like this little figures. You don't have to really copy exactly, but you have something to stare at there. Okay, so wonderful example. So I'm going to do this distant mountain right now, so you can follow.
Okay.
Yeah, I will use indigo, maybe a little bit. I think it's indigo would be fine. Indigo and water. You can also use a little bit mineral blue, if you like, to make it more, make it like a, let me show you. Instead of using white, we use this. Well, actually, this new tube, it comes with a dark shade, dark hue in the beginning. So it's almost like a first grade. It doesn't serve the purpose of lighting it. So anyway, you can mix two. Sometimes it's good to have two similar blues. So it looks not just right out of the tube, And you can use a clean brush with clean water. Just try handy there. You don't have to hold it in one hand, but you can hold just sometimes we need to soften the bottom. You can also start doing just wash the bottom part, with a little water, so it will be a soft, like a clouds. I can't really. Let me show you what look like on the. Let me see if I can enlarge this. Plus. Okay. Here we go. It's almost like Shagui's mountain, right? Almost like that. We learned that. You remember in the southern zone? Yeah. So I will do a little water, just an L-shaped. There's a little bit in the middle. So basically, this cliff echo this side. It's almost 90 degree. You know. So you can test with a. Let me see. I just use this piece. Test it. Just make sure it's not too dark. This is too dark. Too dark. Sometimes I just keep doing this, and because I got water in the brush, so when I feel right, I will just the color will dry lighter, just like a watercolor. And another way, if you want a soft start, you can touch just tiny bit of. Let me show you my water here.
Henry, my small Marie Set 3 blue is a lot darker than the larger tube that I bought.
I know in the beginning they got this glue on top. When you just open a new one, you got the dark on the top. That's where they got the first grade. You know, it's on the top layer. It's dark, and then it's lighter and lighter down the bottom. So you should get the lighter ones. If you just squeeze out the top layer, you'll get the lighter ones. But just add water. Just add water. Dilute it. And I touch a little bit water. You can see on my little screen here, I got water. I touch the tip of the brush just a little bit, so I don't have to get a hard line, you know, and just something like that. If I want to stop bleeding, I blot it and also take some ink color away, so lighten it a little bit. I want you guys to see if it is too dark. Anyway, is that too dark? If it's too dark, what do you do? With clean water, I just blot it, so I have room to add. If you just keep adding water, it will bleed. Right? So you just add some water, and water usually serve to make the color more how do you say not stiff. How do you say not stiff? Active, right? Or alive. I don't know how to say it in English. So you just use water to activate it, maybe. What will you say? And here we got a little peak there. And you can just use water to blend it. And a little peak this direction. Too dry. Just like that. Oops, I got the brush wrong. I switched the brush. I thought it was water, but it's not. So what happened if you got some accident like this? So you can lighten it with water, blot it, just blot it. You can use just the same kind of paper instead of paper towel. The paper towel with pattern is not very good for blotting. So just like it goes to this part. I'll just leave a little white on the bottom. So definitely this is a much more than the originals. Okay, if it bleeds to the sky, what do? I use clean water like this. To prevent it from bleeding into the sky. And I can do the whole thing if you want, or you can just yeah, because here I want to keep the hard edge, so I'll leave a white line there, and just keep it. If you touch it, it will make it blurry. But if you already touch it, you add more water, it will still keep it that, I think, yeah. So you can actually keep the line from bleeding into the sky with clean water. You understand what I'm doing? This is clean water. You see a water trace there, right? But sometimes if the water is too dark, it creates another boundary there, like a sim line, you know. So you better just wet the whole thing until the edge, or you can gradually introduce, you know, to make it into dry. So not from a hard line there. You understand? Sometimes you got the water stain. So this is a little bit water control trick I want to share. All right. Now I just do.
So you have the water there, and you leave blank between.
Yeah, the blank part is water.
Blue mountain.
Water.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an emergency rescue because I want to. Actually, it serves two purposes. One is prevent the color from bleeding into the sky because I added some water inside, right? Now I want to add this part wetter because the water will turn to bleed to the drier part. Okay, another thing is I can add water here and replace to lighten the ink. When this part is drier, water tends to drive the color in. Sometimes lighten this part also, but that may or may not happen. So, but basically this this method is used to prevent bleeding. And I also use water on the bottom to soften the edge. But here is another little area we need to repeat. Okay, here I see the bottom is here, so with clouds in this little ravine or somewhat, you know, a cliff opening there, and then you can make water around this side, and then you draw this peak, what they call this profile or silhouette, silhouette, right? The French word for profile, the shape of the distant mountain. And you can add a little bit, maybe I just make it a little bit purplish. I just add a tiny little of rouge, mix a little, that's just to make it a little purple. And I just go, I don't have to avoid the water. I just create this mountain like that. Okay, because it's wet down below, so it gives me this kind of soft edge on the bottom. I hold the brush at the angle. So I need to indicate the peak. I think it's on the top, right? It's on the top. So just highlight that a little bit. That's the darkest part. So that that shows the movement is going this way. and the softer on this side, and this is going this way. So they meet behind this rock. Anyway.
So Henry,
Yes.
would you introduce that blue on the left? Would you introduce that color anywhere else in your painting?
Yeah, you can do that. Right now, it's a good time to do. I'll put some blue on my foreground. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll just put this blue very light. You can apply the color in multiple times, like 5 or 4, at least 3 times, instead of just do it in one shot. So that actually creates the harmony. You can blend the colors, like I got brown already on this in this section, as you know. So it's good to apply the color. You can also do it on the back, but let me just do it on the front. So let me use this brush as yeah. So this one, let's say, assume this is the color and this is the water, but I also got color in there. That's okay. So you can deliver the color in the shady part and then blend it, pull it towards the light part. So this is by the way, I show you this method you have to learn. You hold there are 2 ways doing this switch without a single hand switch. You hold the brush like chopsticks. If you know how to use chopsticks, it's easier. The contemporary way of doing this is you keep the slot separated constantly. So the little brush or the color brush on top, and then when you use it, you pull it down and then use these 2 fingers. See, use the ring finger and small finger, kind of like that. But you have to keep it to 90 degrees, like still. But it's a little bit uncomfortable. And then when you're done, you switch back to the lower one, and then go back and then press down, just like that. This one is easier, but a little bit awkward, I feel, because it's not normal way you hold the brush. If you use the normal way holding brush is like this, right? And then you just put one additional brush through the index finger and the middle finger, like this. This is the traditional way, the authentic way, the Orthodox school way. And then when you switch, this is how we do it. I do it slowly. Nobody really showed this in English video. Okay, you hold the horizontal brush with your thumb. We call this 虎口, the tiger mouth, this part of the hand. You clip it, and then you release the middle finger and put the middle finger behind the first brush, and then release the thumb, and then push it. So you hold the brush normally like this, like the calligraphy way, okay? But they can do it in millisecond, just like two actions actually. But if you keep it separate, it's all okay. So you just need to practice with chopsticks, maybe in the restaurant when you add meal, or you can just use 2 clean brushes. Don't practice when you're actually doing the painting. Just a little lesson on this. I don't really sync my fingers when I really do it. So just make sure it's not, do it slowly, I think, if you want to try this. So I would add the shady part a little bit. This mineral color, kind of first grade. It's darker than the bottom shade. Anyway. And you can use this to lighten the ink sometimes. But if it's too light, you have to go back. So just add a little color to the dark. It's like a glazing, not it's an opaque color, so be careful. I use plenty of water, so it's not covering. I just use not solid brush, so I don't have to use water to blend it. You can just kind of sweep, just very dry brush. Yeah, it's kind of dry. You can use dry brush. I think dry brush wash is more common in classical painting. I see a lot of students used to wet wash. That create kind of contemporary style, like football shirt, we use some water to dampen the whole paper and then do the wash. You don't really do that in ancient times. They tend to use same kind of stroke, just like the shaping strokes. So this is a very subtle color. Just add a cool tone to the brown we got, and you can go slow, to make sure it's not over color. Okay, so I just combine them with dry brush. Okay, let's see. This one, because I added the red on the back, I may have to add a little bit purple on this one, just to echo that. Okay, so this might be too dark. You can let's wait and see. When it's dry, it gets lighter, but after you mount it, you come back. So that's or depends on the experience you have. So how dark and how light at this point. So you want to make sure it's not too dark, at least. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do the little trees on this rock. I think this is too wet area. Let me work on this middle ground. And you can see some moss dots, and that will be that could be done. This is kind of dark green. Yeah, we can dot it later. We just do the trees. So there are some, I think the same kind of tree, like the foreground, but they're not, you can see the little jets, we call it 3-stroke groove, like the bamboo groove. That's maple kind of. It's not double lined on the trunk because it's in the distance, but there's one maybe. And this ink should be lighter than the foreground ones. And also darker than the rock line. So different parts have different ink or color to distinguish. You can distinguish them with color or the tonality. Okay, so it gets smaller and smaller over. This is about the same level. That's an important one on the dark. So try not to make it too large, but I don't want it to go too detailed either. Just keep the sense of proportion will be fine. That's my main objective. So I don't have to copy individual strokes. I just copy the feel I get. If you look at the handout I sent you yesterday, the Dong Qi Chang, he has some theory, aesthetic theory, along with his practice that has very strong influence on other artists after him, even today. And one of the main observation is that he looked at the natural landscape, compare the natural landscape and ancient paintings, and he concluded that speaking of the strange forms, because the Chinese artists like appreciate the stone, the rock, just like a Western artist appreciate the sculptures of human body, they really like the strange rocks. So speaking of strange forms, the natural is better than the ancient masters' paintings. Even, so, however, in terms of brushwork and subtleties of ink or color, the ancient painting has its own. Ancient painting is better than the natural world. In other words, he will try to learn both in his painting. So his painting should include the strange formation of rocks. He got inspiration from observation of natural world. Also the brushworks and the strokes, he has to learn from copy the ancient masters. In one of the comments he wrote, inscription he wrote on a copy he made after ancient master, he said his painting got about 1% of the original, but that's already make him adequate to live on. So at his time, he already think that there's not much that contemporary artists could contribute to the assets of the capital of the literary painting. So even you got 1% of that, you can live on with. So his style is very how to say, antiquarianism, or trying to revitalize the traditional landscape. But he tried to do it in an intuitive way, which is very creative way from his heart or mind. So he's very he's very revolutionary. He treats the painting, the landscape painting, as a calligraphy, because he's a calligrapher. As I mentioned, when I studied first calligraphy copybook, it was done by him, the cursive style one. So his calligraphy is very good, and he thinks that from that time on, we have the idea to deconstruct the landscape painting into vocabularies or formulas of trees or rocks, and they're very abstract kind of elements, as seen in the later teaching book, the Mustard Seeds Garden Manual of Painting. So the Mustard Seeds Garden Manual is the book we have to start with, right? That's the theory behind all this learning method is set up by Dong Qichang. And he also followed the ancient tradition of critiques. The standards or criterion are three ranks or three class, right? We learned that word in Chinese calligraphy lesson on Tuesday. The word ping. I think Emily and Susan Tabush and Susan Riemann, right? This word ping. In Chinese brush painting, we have this 3 or 4 sometimes ranks or class. The first one is Shen Ping. Shen means divine, God, or spirit. Shen Ping, okay. This is divine class, the first grade. And second is Miao Ping. Miao Ping. Miao means wonderful. Wonderful. There's a famous artist, Qi Baishi, right? Late artist Qi Baishi. He has famous quote saying, Miao is in between like and dislike, resembling or dissembling, right? That's Miao, wonderful. And the third is Nen. Nen means able. Nenping means able. So Tang Ying's painting belongs to Nenping, and Qiu Ying's painting definitely Nenping. Not Tang Ying could have some Shen even, but this painting particularly. So even same artist could have produced different categories of different rank of art, right? So some painting could be just so-so. This actually means able or skillful. So academic artists in Dong Qichang's theory are all Nenping, because they only they emphasize on the technical part of the painting more than the spirit part. This is spirit, a God, divine. This is divine. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. And there's another one. They don't really count because I can also mention it's called Yiping. Yiping is more like a Zen painting, like especially like Mo Xi's painting, that kind of. The Chinese literati doesn't like it because it's has no method. It's more accidental. It cannot be learned. Cannot be it's outside the categories, outside those 3 rank or 3 classes. yi ping. Yi means escape or yeah. But you know, Ni Yuning, he says he paint with yi qi. So this is the same yi. It's a escape or recluse. Also have this kind of meaning in it. So basically, it's outside the mainstream. Yiping. Nanping has other words. The third category could also have. Sometimes they use. So this two have very consensus among our critics, and this one could be mentioned as a Jingping. Means very elaborated, detailed, or qiao. Qiao is craft, crafty. What do you say this? So this painting, why it takes so much time? It has some craft, some lot of nen aspect, skill aspect in it. At some part, it has the scholar expressionistic style in it. So it's a combination of everything. And you can go different directions based on the painter. Okay, I have another tip to share with you. Someone taught me in the last workshop on flower painting, and this, you can use any stocks or something. I'd use Victoria's shirt, sweatshirt. So I created this this little glove. So it helps to prevent you smear the paper, especially if you work on sized paper. Your sweat could destroy the layer of sizing, and this will solve a lot of problems. So you can put your hand on the paper, on your wrist on the paper without creating damage. So oops. Okay. This area, and it has some hanging trees. Oops, I got some water in it. So you in live video, that's the when you see how I solve problems. So first of all, I will leave it alone. I don't want to keep working on this blob. Let's see. I got that drop of ink there. And then just leave it dry, see what we can do. It could be a divine touch and make it a shenping. So you got to have some accident to make it into divine class. I'm just joking. Yeah, Dong Qichang said, when talk about the life qi or vitality in the painting, he says it's you got it from birth. Right? He also says you can develop that by reading books and traveling 1,000 miles, reading 1,000 volumes. So yeah, he's a very diligent learner kind of. He's not very talented, I think, but that's why people like him. His painting looks like a very amateur, but it has the scholar chi in it. The scholar brush stroke you have to develop by cultivation. You don't have to really read, paper books these days. You can just learn from lectures, like there are some museum lectures or the university lecture series. Just study the ancient, read the ancient painting with high definition. So Dongqi-san is had advantage of as a connoisseur, as a collector, into seeing originals, not a a privilege like other artists may have. But these days we all have this access to ancient masters. That's why we are more it's more convenient for us to study. But still,
Yeah,
copy
so-
is Any question?
Henry, if you're talking about this 神品、妙品、能品、艺品, if you can show us, the painting when you talk
It's
about
very
it.
subjective. Very subjective. You can find a different. You can see, somebody, for example, will say Shenzhou is a 神品. You may also find someone says he's a 能品, but it's all subjective. Yeah. But basically, they use the same kind of label. You can give your own opinion. As who is actually 神品, who is or which work is it's a judgment with different. Some may have consensus, like a 居然 could be very. Some work of 居然 or Dongyuan may have reached the 神品, or I don't know if Dongqi-san has a. He has. I have a book in Chinese, but there's a section that he has a collection of his comments on his connoisseur remarks on different ancient masterpieces. They may not just use a simple term. He will describe what's good, what's bad. So it's always good to read all this, but you have to really see the picture he's commenting on. But sometimes the picture are already lost, so I don't really get all the information, I think, these days. So it's hard to have a common agreement on who exactly is 神品. But basically, 能品 is very easy to identify. And then the other 神 or 妙. And 齐白石, I think 妙 is more 写意 kind of, maybe has some spontaneity, but not to the extent of 艺品. 艺品 is completely, it could be reckless. Oh, speaking of that, there's if you go to my lecture notes, you can see why he created this whole theory is in response to a question raised in that time, a discussion, with common discussion on which direction to go at the end of the Ming Dynasty, because they have seen a rise of northern school and southern school. They have these two school, fight for authentic or for orthodox, and you can see the trend. The trend is that okay, this is the last class. Okay, this is Dongqi-chan's. So we're at 17. Okay. So this painting, let me share the screen with you. Okay, share this. This painting is a typical example of the late Ming development of a professional school. Artists, they tend to go wild. And this considered as an example of the, I cannot enlarge it. It's not a very high resolution, but you can see this is in Princeton University collection. Fang Wen, the author of the book, Image of the Mind, took this as example as the late Ming kind of bad example of academic school artist. Nanyin may be a good example we studied, but this trend was more followed into Japan, maybe. So it looks more like a Japanese painting to me. Forgive me if I'm wrong. so basically, it's a this kind of painting was looked down by academic, by literati painters, and they think this is uncivilized, uneducated, or something too rough, too rude. So Dong Qichang has this to say, and he says, yeah, the painting has to be, you know, like a calligraphy. You have to refine in terms of strokes and ink use, and you have to learn from nature the formation, the strange formations of rocks and etc. So he opened a new way of directions for all the artists who followed. Let me show you an example of that. A typical example is Bada Shanren, because Dong Qichang really not that good in learning from. Although he has a very strong personal style for sure, but you can see the work he did I show you? Let me show you one at least. You know, this could be one of yours. Yeah, it's amateurish, right? Do you like it? Yes, he's a master. You like it, right? There's something in it. It's this frankness. He doesn't hide his lack of training, but because he looked down the craftsmanship of the professionals like Qiu Ying or even Tang Ying, you know, this kind of professional artist. So his work is amateurish, but he has the scholar qi in it. It has the tradition. You can trace back to the Yuan master or Song masters. You know, the Dong Yuan, his ancient, his ancestor. He says, my ancestor Dong. You know, this hemp stroke, and Huang Gongwang. You know, in one of his paintings, he wrote that I wish I can show this to Master Huang Gongwang or Dong Yuan. You know, I could be show to the ancient people. Let's show you which one he's talking about. Yeah, this is the one. So this one was used as a good example of Dong Qichang's invention, innovation, or revolution. This one is after Huang Gongwang, the Yuan master. You remember the river, the Fuchun River scroll. But you can see he does it on a sized paper with his sudden awareness of Wang's painting. You know, he just think, oh, he just do the contour first, and then he put in this hemp strokes to make it yin and yang, you know, separation of yin and yang. So he got that basic idea, and then he says, instead of doing the little rocks one by one to form a large mountain, look at the master just, you know, have very simple opening and closing. 分开合, that's another concept I'll talk later. Just a major opening and closing. This is the opening on this side with trees, and then closing with the mountain, and actually closing. It opens another side and closes with this mountain. So he also changed some kind of. To me, this painting has different movement. So he emphasized on the movement instead of the resonance of qi, usually interpreted as the mist and the clouds. He emphasized on the movement of qi. So the same word pronounced, I mean, different words pronounced the same sound, qi yun. In the original six principles or canons, we talk about the qi yun, right? Qi means breath or air. Yun means resonance. Resonance is like harmony. The long-lasting sound of music notes. That's yun. Okay, but Dong Qicang emphasized more on this yun, or simplified. Yun means movement. So his painting has this kind of, oh, you don't see my table here? Let me just stop sharing. So I wrote these two words in Chinese. They pronounced as yun. In the book of Mustard Seed Garden Menu, the author used this interpretation and think the movement of qi instead of resonance of qi. Both are important, I think. But Dong Qicang happened to like the movement part. And this painting we're working on is more like movement, not much clouds and mist, but we see lots of movement of trees and rocks with qi, the energy. Yeah. Okay. I better finish this today. I don't know if we have time still. Okay. Let's work on the other one. Okay, this layer on the distance only had very small dots. So this probably, okay, so we have a few trees there, that would be it. So I diluted the ink a little bit further and I use, okay, here we have a mountain which is against this, this back mountain we just did. So make sure it's dry. It's not going to create more divine touches. I already got. So divine touch cannot be learned through skill, right? It's a happy accident. That's my interpretation. Good painting has to got divine touches. See how this works. It's dry. Yeah, I think it's not a serious problem. Just to change it into a, I can put more dots, maybe just. So when you have some blobs, you just leave it and deal with it later. Sometimes it become a good part of it, of your painting. It's something that you cannot really get by normal means. So that you should be appreciated if it just happen, Okay, I'm going to dot some mustards right away now to create along this this ridge. We call it dragging vein. Dong Qicang doesn't use the term dragging vein for the movement of mountain, but later his follower Wang, one of the four Wangs, Wang Yuanqi, he used the concept dragging vein. We'll talk more when we go to the four Wangs, the Orthodox school. So these dots actually help to separate plans and highlight some kind of dividing line or it could be, just used to cover up. Just like a music orchestra, this is one of the elements. So dots in addition to line and washes, right? And the good dot has this kind of light vitality. It's standing on the paper, not just kind of dead. Yeah, it has this. You see, this is good example. Close, get close to that. Yeah, it has grouping, and each dot is okay. I think he used the blue in it. Let me just get some blue. I got blue. It's handy. And you can dot first before you add the trees. It's okay. And you see, I put this along the ridge. And you can go horizontally. Okay, and it goes. You can leave some space between different plants. A distance to get smaller. My paper is kind of not solid, so you can do slowly. I think I'm doing too fast, so it's not penetrate. If you look at the back, you should see which is good, which is not good. This is student work. This is master work. Okay, the dot should go to the back of the paper. If you write calligraphy, you will see two dots in between the dash or something like that. Yeah. So that's that's an indication of good or bad. It's calligraphy sometimes. You look at from the back. Okay. So that separated two layers. This is on the front. And some getting sparse. Okay, there's not much there. Rhythm is everything. I'm using the 7-wolf 3-sheep brush. You can use a niner, Gombi niner. Also, just a sharp brush. Actually, for the moustache, you have this moustache brush. That's why my dots looks like too sharp. I think maybe I should use this one. This is the moustache. Yeah, much more comfortable. So it should be rounded exactly like what we see here. And you can use this brush also for little trees. Okay, let's do a tree there. Okay, let me just finish this layer. So I add more blue to the ink. There's some red also, so I just do the blue and the red separately, 2 different steps. The blue tends to be on the lower part. It's logical. There's logical principle, the natural principle. So I just do Okay, this one doesn't have it. So just because this part is kind of too horizontal, we want to make it some vertical. Let me see. So mostly on the outside of the contour, but sometimes you can have something in between, zigzag, connect, separate the a area like this. But basically it's on the top of the plane, this rocks. My shape is not exactly the same. I don't have to follow every stroke, you know, so, but there's a trend like the peak is dense there and then gets sparse. And it goes to the, just like ants walking, and then to this cliff that goes down. And to just define that some of the rock, the protruding part of the rock, I think. And you can also indicate a little bit. You look at the whole rhythm. Some dense, some sparse. Not just even. I see a lot of students just do a line, you know, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not like that. Just think about music rhythm. Then, you know, different distance, vary the distance and the density. Okay. There's some very kind of squeezed, flat surface there. Looks like that. This is almost beyond the eye level, right? So you really don't see the top. Okay. And here below, we have more dots to do. This is behind the red. So this dots is behind the rock. The red is on the tree. I'm going to do the vermilion or cinnabar. It could also just on the tree, I think. Okay. I need to make some stamps. Okay, here we've got some more. So the trees in the shady area are actually lighter, or depends on the rocks color. You don't want to dark on dark, light on dark, light, something like that. I think that's probably help to separate the. Okay, here we have some dark on the cliff here. Okay, just enhance the color already. I mean the trees I already did a little bit, and this one taller. I already got that. I think I don't want to repeat too much. Okay, so let me just do some detail to finish the figure here. Just the face with a little yellow, orange, yellow, amber, and I think the closing just amber, I think. Just make it easy. Just a little color. And the roof is a little gray. It's too small. Green, gray, green, gray, and some trees there. Yeah, roof behind the trees. And the little curtain. I think just use some blue for the window. Just highlight the line, should be fine. I'll just use some gray ink to shade a little bit. Steps. That's it, I think. Just some shadow there. The figure. There's some red, some blue on the side. Figure. Just use a little. It's a book bag. It sits on it. Whatever. The face should be a little orange or whatever. And the donkey is in a little bit purplish brown, some kind of. And that's it. Okay, we can. Let me finish all the dots and then we'll do an overall color adjustment. Okay, here we got some more trees to work. And this is another directional part that leads the eye, keep the eye in. So there's branch, just like you take a photograph, you have some branches in front of the camera, kind of frame the composition. This is the same idea. It's a partial tree, just the okay, this one is right. Okay. Just the frame, the setting, set the painting is a little inward branch. You can see very clearly the paved wood path, right? Walk the trail. So there's some pillars, logs, like under that. And this part maybe you don't see. All right, anyway, so just river. Okay, so is there any dots on the top? No. Let me zoom out and show you what I got here. Okay. Let's see the river part. We got that, we got this. Yeah, he has a lot of waves. So what we can do, maybe a little more or just the wash. I'll just leave it. I'll just do a little blue wash. Not too blue, but echoes the top of the mountain a little bit. There's a lot of foam should be around the waterfall, so you don't see the color. Only this part maybe. So I just dampen it and with a little indigo diluted, very diluted indigo, add that a little hint of blue. Have some ink in the shady parts. Just I don't really worry about the refractions, but it will be interesting to see in Chinese painting. Okay, let's see. I think I need to separate some yin and yang here on the distant mountain. It's hard to see in the close-up view. Let's see, how do I? Okay. So I just do like some shading, I think. Make the in part a little shady. Okay, not much. Actually. This is pretty much in the light. Okay, just the misty. Okay, I may make this gap a little bit smaller. Maybe. I'm not sure if that's a good move, but it looks smaller, narrower in the original. I just add a little blue with silhouette and on this side, just a little hint. So someone asking when I purchase the color, if the color will be enough, the small tube, I think it will last at least for a year for me, because you don't really use that much. You just need 2% maybe, 1% maybe in the water. Okay, let's wash with some some indigo this area. Just to foil out the light, the white. To make this shady part a little heavier, you can use ink. Oops. Wet in wet. Dry brush on wet. Remember, that's the trick. Okay. And here, I think the original may be too dark in the Western sense. It's already in the sky, so it should be bluer. Let's just use blue instead of. So you can use color instead of tone to generate the different yin-yang contrast. So I use cool color instead of ink. Okay, dry brush. And dry brush here. Is this okay? Here is the shady part, right? And this should be darker. I leave the red dots the last. Okay. This part. These are mostly surface texture, not really lines. So I use dry brush. Okay. But he used the wet wash on silk. I think he did the same time with the contour maybe. So it's all just gray. And some dry brush on the surface of this kind of twist there. And I use water and then just touch it with a little ink, dry brush ink. Sometimes if it doesn't look good, I just let it dry without using ink. You know what I mean? I use clean water, just draw a stroke, and then I use dry brush, just rub it on if I like it. So that's how sometimes you can test at this point to go slow. Okay. This bottom part. Looks like this under the tree needs to be a little shady, I think, some areas. I use dry brush, so don't have a solid. He has a lot of string hand strokes. He probably used the tip of the brush constantly, so not like a flat stroke. So let me just keep it pointed. So this takes a long time to draw. Just paint it. Drawing, not paint the colors. Okay, here you see this part is very calligraphic still. Very calligraphic. Okay, let's see. rocks in the water. Okay, just stop me. We think it's finished. Let me add the final touches with some red. Maybe we should be okay. We'll use this this mustard brush. Yeah, I realized the color he used on the trees is so subtle. It's almost like a yellow ochre. Anyway, we can enhance the trees later. I'm going to add the little red dots on the trees. You can see them if I enlarge. On here, we got just around the dots because it's pretty distant. You can got some rouge in it if you don't want the orange to orange. You want some kind of muted color, but still red. Let me zoom in. Okay, and here. And here, it's more muted, so you can add some blue in it, make it purple. And some ink. Mustard brush is good to do this. Okay, some tiny branches on the roof need to be darker. Add a little branch there. Okay. Got some roots. This tree on this side, there. Very small leaves. Okay. Very distance. And on this tree, because this is the covering color, which is good to dot on the blob I made to make it less blobby. Blob. Just add a little to it. Actually, it's good to have dark as better than on white paper. When you dot with vermilion or cinnabar, this kind of mineral red, they like to be embed on ink. And it looks like you don't have to dot much inside because it's shady. Just on the top. And nice against the blue mountains there. Accelerate just a suggestion of red. That's enough. Okay. You can dot on the green if you like. They won't really show much. On the dark dots there, a little bit. So it actually it was muted. And a few maybe just a few. Identify the it's little small trees. Maybe see the tree, kind of keep with your eye moving upwards in the direction artists want you to see. And then the top, there's some muted dots. You can add some yellow, some green to mute it. So it's a kind of gray color. The contemporary artists actually use pure color on this. We have a class on this red foliage landscape with an artist in Nanjing, Wei Li. She's the daughter of Wiz. She one of 4 masters of the Nanjing Landscape School. I think yes, actually she used several layers, not just the pure rouge. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remembered she talked about using various colors, several layers of red to reach the richness of this kind of foliage. And so you can start at any time and you can keep working until you feel finished. So for me, I think that a demo is pretty much finished. I can see the last thing I want to see with the color. The tree should be integrated in the early before the class. We have some conversation. I recorded actually. We missed talking about a student painting. So that's important to have a finished look. I think Charlie, you did a very good job bringing all the leaves together, and these little holes should be very subtle, like we do see a lot of rocks behind, huh? So this is okay to leave. This is the trail. I want to make it clear. Goes, turns. Let's see. Oh, it has the horizontal kind of steps that indicate it's a trail. A little detail identifies the some kind of horizontal along the way here. Okay, I'm gonna sign this. Where to do the sign? I think the original is on the top. I translated this poem. It has to it describes his back trip from Beijing examination, a failed scholar back home, with the books wrapped. Anyway, I don't write that. We call this painting Qili, something. What was the name of it? 归思, 驱离归思. Yeah, back thoughts on donkey back, something like that. Here's the word 骑驴. writing on donkey. So I'm going to copy this word. You can see.骑驴归司徒. I think that's the name of this. Ping, did you write this these 4 words? Anyway, I hope that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, just confirm. Thank you. Okay, qi. There's too many strokes. Qi. Let me just write simplified. Oh, this is so complicated.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
I wrote the simplified
Oh yeah.
character.
Yeah. Chili Grace. Okay. I hope you can read it. The year of wow, it's kind of tight for. Okay, he wrote right in the middle of the painting. Oh, it's on the side. Okay, I still have room. I try to copy exactly. So I have the year of the rat. Autumn. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to write his tribute. I'll write under it, under the title. And here's my signature. And I'll say Fang. Or you can say Ling. It's mimic. Tang Yin. Ying, it's how do you say this one? I think. Tang Bai Hu. Oh, Tang Yin, sorry, here. There's a one more dash there. Okay, got it. It's his name. Okay, I use a small seal because this pin is quite small. Make sure it's in the right orientation always. Okay, just be below this. Okay. I see Charlie has some seal on the bottom. That this side, this seal on the right is someone else poem. Right. Oh, actually, I just noticed this tree on top of the pine is a maple tree. So I was thinking I should need some red there. I'm going to add that. And some foliage on the ground, believe it or not. Oh, I discovered it. Do you see that? Do you see this? Foliage on the ground. And there's connoisseur, collector's seal on the bottom corner. So I'm going to add this last touch of the foliage on the rock. I think it's nice to have on this top plane. Just make sure it's not too dry. So I did the leaves too dry. It could be dry, I think, because it's suggests some close-up view. You see more of the texture. And you can have some dark in green to contrast with that. Oh, blue, I think. There's a little bit, maybe a divine touch. I don't know if it's on this tree, this part. Okay, just a little bit, maybe. So some under the red, maybe like a shadow. Or you can, usually we dot the dark first, then the red, right? If you want to. So just put some dots on the top plan. So we're facing.
We cannot see you painting.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got it. I see it. Thank you.
Let me see. You can see here. I'm just,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, that's good.
maybe too much. Oh, let's do a lot. Just I messed it up. I think just add a lot. Okay, just maybe this is too red. This tree on the top is red. So this tree is red. This is yellow. So let me just add some yellow. The yellow maybe not for it. So there's some natural logic you have to consider. Yeah. Oh, okay, here is the last touch, I think. This is the middle ground, so we can have a little detail, like a little jits or ge, you know, the little character kind of maple that goes into the distance there. And we can have some, I think, yeah, it could be here and here. So then we can have foliage on the ground here, because they fall from here on top. We can put inside this area, this dance area. They got everything there. There's some red. Okay. Some more here, and just drop on the top. I see here is more red. On this. Okay, actually it's on this side, the top plane. So they all have this kind of logic of nature, where you put things in place, you know. Okay, I think the time is up. It's 11:30, right? What do you think? Do I need to add more detail anywhere? That's it.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you paint the
What?
water?
Yes.
Water?
The water, I didn't. Maybe I should add a little bit, like a highlight with indigo, very light, just on one side of the line. So this will make the water feels whiter, believe it or not. You can go over the line or just on one side sometimes. And this part, maybe I just paint the rock around it, and then sometimes it touches the white. That's okay. So just add a little blue qi in there. Just add a little blue there. Very, very, very light. You cannot even see it.
No, I meant the water below.
Below, I already washed with indigo. Oh, you
Oh.
didn't. Okay, let me zoom out.
Okay.
Can you see it? I can draw more if you want.
Yeah.
So you wash it.
That's
Sorry,
more.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's more challenging to draw it. I'm a little afraid, but I can try.
No, no,
Just
no.
draw this.
Less is more.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know the line we learned with the clouds. Shenzhou's painting it has this the teardrop kind of start and wave. I think he used the tip of the brush. I just use water to show you. It will dry to nothing. It's very, very light. So, but you have to keep it flow. I think that's water cannot dry with hesitation. And there's some round, what do you call this, 漩涡? It's a little swirl, right? See the round center, like a tornado center. What do you call that? Yeah, that's.
Do you color the water?
Yeah, I colored the water already with very light indigo, very light indigo. Can you see?
Yeah, okay. You color the entire water with indigo,
Yeah,
right?
almost entire, but not exactly. I paint according to the movement of the water, so it's S-shaped or some kind of swirl.
Okay, let me see yours before I color.
Yeah, I think you don't have to color it. If you have the line, it's a kind of shade. You just make the white S. You know, I see. Maybe not color. You can use more line in the yin and the yang. You know, just create some contrast. So I think wash is the wrong word. You can use line just to. I think to keep consistent with the other style, you need to draw the water.
Henry, I really like how you put in the path there on the bottom of the painting because it wasn't very clear to me on the original, but that shows you the entrance into the landscape.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah, that's, you can see it here, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It's a white rock. I did make a little brown on the side dimension, so it could be.
Oh.
I didn't get it when I was looking at the sound.
Yeah, that's the one we call read it before you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that I also saw yours, then realized that is a path.
Yeah, because we have a theory that the mountain should have a entrance for walk, a trailway. That's basically, it's not a story, but it has this theory that a good landscape painting is for walking, for hiking, and then for stop like a residence is a kind of destination. It could be a pavilion, a viewpoint for resting, and then there's four elements. Human
Can
elements.
stop, can look out.
Look out,
right?
look out. Yeah, look out to live, to walk. At least 3, right? Yeah. That's 可居可游可行可行可居可看可望是吧？可居 yeah 可停 yeah
Yeah. So like the 亭子 you know,
stop,
it's 可停 stop, yeah.
To rest, yeah, and then to live. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the ideal landscape, imaginative landscape. I wish we would have time to go through the Bada Shanren. Maybe we can just do a little bit. Let me see. Okay, Victoria has typed the words for Qiyun. Good. Okay, I just want to go through the last painting I had in the. Okay, 2 paintings, just 2 more paintings to finish.
Henry, on this painting, when you paint the leaves, the color, do you do the dots or just the paint the entire area with the?
Oh, when I did the foliage last time, I did the whole thing in one wash. You can do the dots. Or when you retouch it, you can do. Yeah, I would. In your case, I will do one by one, with a small brush. You can fill in the space outside the outline with a small brush with darker color. Yeah, and just leave the yellow more in the center of the foliage, right? Okay, let me show you the 2 small paintings by Bada Shanren. Bada Shanren is a Buddhist, a Taoist priest, and he adopted this strange title called 8 Great Mountain Men. Okay, this is too big, but this detailed view of that painting. I don't know how to shrink it. There's only enlarge. I'm sorry. Let me just share another folder. Maybe it's easier. Okay, Bada Shanren's painting here. Just do share. This. Okay. Oh, can you see? I have to enlarge it. Right? Can you see this? Good. Okay. Yeah, this is probably on silk. It's from Metropolitan Museum in New York, I think. I saw this album in person, I think 2 years or 3 years ago.
Henry, we can't see.
Oh, you cannot see. Oh, sorry. Let me do it again.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see it now? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you can see how Bada Shanren pushed the Dong Qichang's style or trend to a very abstract mind landscape kind of, because he's more Zen kind of, or Taoist, higher, in a higher state of art or philosophy or religion, whatever. So he entered this kind of a state where there's no movement at all. We call this quietance. Is that quietance? Jing. Or quiet, ji, or silence.
Quiescence?
Quiescence or silent, yeah. So very peaceful, very calm, very meditative kind of landscape. On the other hand, sometime in the later class, we'll talk about his contemporary Shi Tao, also influenced by Dong Qichang. Remember, Dong Qichang mentioned the two natural. One is the natural, the created by natural, right? Natural world. The second natural, I call it second natural. He didn't use the word second natural. He called it paintings. Means ancient masterpieces. This is probably a copy of Huang Gongwang kind of, but because Dong Qichang already made this into an abstract kind of style, so we don't really rely on the real mountains and the rivers anymore. It's more and more as a mind landscape. But Shi Tao has a slogan says, to search thousands of mountains as a sketch or preparation for his painting. So he's more outward, outdoor going, outgoing to search for mountain in the famous Huangshan. So he founded the Huangshan School, and I think James Cahill has a lecture one of the last lectures he gave on Huangshan and Shitao. I will give you the link. Bada
Henry,
Shanren, yeah.
I want to share, I don't know, a long time ago, probably someone in the class said about this book. It's called How to Read Chinese Painting, and it's from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It has paintings from
Shitao. Yeah.
I don't know, has paintings that the museum has.
Oh yeah, this album I'm looking at is from Met. Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe.
This book
Okay.
that I wanted to share it with everybody, so I bought it probably in Amazon or something. I don't know.
Does it just by reading it means interpreting, not literal reading, text reading, but picture reading, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Daisy has it too. Huh?
from a lot of
It's a good book.
yeah. Nissan.
Oh. Okay, I'll try to get it.
They have in the collection.
It's a list that you have like a catalog of what Met has. Yeah, that's
Yep.
very good. Yeah. Maybe who's the author? One form?
It's from the Met.
Yes,
It
okay.
Continued.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll find out. Yeah.
Maxwell.
Hearn,
Hearn.
Hearn.
Hearn. Yeah. From the Met, and it has all the paintings that we have been.
Oh yeah. We mentioned. Yeah, actually, the book I use of Wen Fang. He's the former director of Met, so he used all the paintings, the same painting. Yeah.
Yes, they have it in Amazon. I used one for 60 something. It's already in my shop.
Yeah,
See if I
reasonable.
will buy it.
Okay. But yeah, just for copy purpose, you can get a digital copy to learning these days. They have a high resolution in their website probably. Yeah. So these days I tend not to buy expensive books. I sometimes still cannot help to get. But if there's a digital copy, I always use digital copy.
Yeah, it's
because
better.
the color looks
Yeah,
more
it is.
natural to me. Yeah, even too close to the real one.
And
So
you
Bada
can
Shanren-
enlarge it to see the detail as well. right?
Yeah, I think.
If it's a book, it's just more you don't,
Yeah, you
sometimes
see, this
don't
is how
see.
detailed this one. I think it's from the Met. Someone got from that. You can see it's silk. You can feel the texture. You can, it's translucent. I mean, the illumination is different. So I still prefer digital version for my eyes. I have better feel when I look at digital. Just like these days, you can see oil painting on Google too.
I bought this book from you years ago, Henry, a book, 2-book set on Bada Shanren.
Oh yeah, Bada Shanren Huaji. Yeah, we have that. I think we still have it on our website. This is Bada Shanren's landscape. It's less known to the popular public, but because his landscape is more Zen kind of, not like his bird is like a personal with his personality.
Yeah, I see his bird more, I think, than.
But not many, because this just among artists like Fan Zhen, or they are all admirers of Bada Shanren, and they will get together to copy every year of his work, something like that. So he is considered the peak of Chinese painting of all time. Another peak is Shitao. So both of them are influenced by Dong Qichang. You can see. This is a Bada Shanren, right? Remember this painting? And I can show you Dong Qichang's similar painting. It looks, if you don't see the signature, I thought it's Dong Qichang. Yeah, this is Bada Shanren is common, style like fish or lotus painting. I didn't.
Yeah, I kind of like this better.
I know that's
than
because
his landscape. I don't know.
right, but his landscape is very abstract.
Unique, right?
Yeah, very abstract. It's pretty traditional, not as a radical as a individualistic as his. But you can still see the trend, towards individualism. That's his portrait. Let's see. Let me stop sharing. And if you go back to Dong Qichang for comparison, you'll see why the especially expert like them as the example for good brush work. Good brush. Both of them are good calligrapher to begin with, so they are considered the examples of good examples of brush and ink.
Yeah, I like his brush work.
Let's see this one. I think I don't see it. Let me see. I have to close one of these. I think. Can you see it on the side? I think we can share. Let me see. Okay. Oh, here. Yeah, that's Dong Qichang. Okay, let me enlarge it so you can see better. That's an album from Dong Qichang. I think it's in US, some museum. I forgot which one. This is a large painting.
Wow.
Yeah, these are Dong Qichang's painting, Southern School style. Yeah, this is a copy. His interpretation of Nizan, probably. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Nizan.
looks
Nizan.
like a Nizan.
Yeah, you can see everybody copy and has different personality. So by no means his copy is enslaved by nature or ancient masters. So he it's very important for Nizan. He said he has to keep his big heart, right, in the time of disorder. So that's very important to keep your personal feeling in your painting. So his mind image is combination of natural and ancient painting, brushwork. That's what he got. So this painting are from someone's mind, and we call it second nature, right? For us, because they are the consciousness of nature. Do you read? I think someone mentioned David Hinton, right, the translator of Chinese poetry. He has 2 little books on Chinese cosmology. I just ordered the second one. The first one was Hunger Mountain. Second one is on Shi Tao's painting. It's just interpretation of one paint and one scroll, I think. A mind trip. It would be interesting to read. I haven't got that book yet, but it's ontological, cosmology kind of level of appreciation.
Henry, is that Shi Tao's calligraphy on the side?
This is Dong Qichang. Yeah, Dong Qichang Dong. Yeah, his cursive style. His style is considered the Tie style. There are 2 schools. One is the Stili school, which is more stronger. And the other is ink school. They're like they only copy the ink work from ancient, even those are copies of copy. Passed down from generation to generation. It's different from the Stilis. When you learn calligraphy, the Stili rely on more interpretation, not specific, right? The ink writing on paper, on silk, it's more elegant. Somehow it has different feel, more fluent, instead of the kind of knife or X cut kind of feel.
Right.
Yeah, so there are two schools in calligraphy. His style is Tie after Wang Xizhi and Mi Fu.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. This is another example of his.
山中和会。
What?
What do you say? Yeah. So his calligraphy is better than his painting, and this is someone else's commentary besides his painting. But the commentary constantly compare his calligraphy to his painting. It's interesting to see. And in one of the painting I'll show you. This is after Huang Gongwang. Yeah, this is interesting. This is Gao Shiqi, I think one of the scholar, painter, calligrapher in Qing Dynasty. He write comment on this painting saying the calligraphy could be raw after mature, but painting has to be mature and more mature. I don't know what that means, but just let you know that's something they discuss. So they don't really appreciate the composition or anything. They appreciate the strokes, the calligraphy in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, they talk about 字须熟后深，画须熟后熟。Right?
嗯
熟 means raw,
Interesting.
raw and ripe. The raw and ripe. So he has the feel of a raw in it, I think, in any case. So I think Dong Qichang has spent like 20 years in calligraphy, and then he admired Mi Fu. He mastered lots of ancient styles, and then kept his unique personality. So that's kind of his painting too. You see, these are very close to Bada Shanren, right? When I see Bada Shanren, I think it's better Dong Qichang sometimes. You think so? His painting is a little bit drier. Bada Shanren is also dry, but just more round, maybe. This is a copy of Li Zan, Li Yuning. Yeah.
嗯
He thinks Li Zan is a good example, combine the good part of both schools, North and South. So he's a good example of Southern school masters. We also have the Northern school influence. And this is after Zhao Mengfu, the double pine artist. And this after Mi Fu, maybe the small Mi, it's called Splash Ink landscape. Also inspired by Dong Yuan. So originally it's from Dong Yuan and developed in Song Dynasty by Mi dots. This Mi dots, right? But his Mi dots is a little too dry. This front one is okay, I think. It doesn't matter, that's what we call the raw part of it. If you make all the dots in the right moisture, wet, it will lose that kind of raw feel, right? Uncooked feel. How do you describe that? Called the shen and shu. So his painting has a lot of amateurism in it, imperfect beauty. In Japanese, they call it just wabi-sabi, that kind of rough, earthy feel. Yeah, it's not to the extent as the root, the coarse later academic school. Because at that time people think people tend to use the word mad or crazy, as good words in their titles. They try to be mad, they try to be crazy, but not Dong Qichang. So Dong Qichang has rationalized the trend, the direction of the movement towards a more moderate, because we go back to the old tradition. So we become the student of the ancient masters. So we instead of just like a Renaissance and the same time in Europe, right? It goes back to the classic. So he lived in the late 17th century, in the first half of 17th century. Late 17th century sees the development of individualism in China. It's a period with a lot of masters. The two peaks, the twin peaks, Bada and Shitao, are both in the 17th century. So a little bit after. When he died, Bada was 10 years old. He died 8 years before the Qing dynasty was established, another foreign dynasty. However, that one is a little bit more lenient to the Chinese elite. So they adopt Dong Qichang's style as the academic school. So for once, his students become the court academic painters. So they professionalized. From that time on, it dominates the Chinese academic world until today, I think. That's his colorful, large paintings. Yeah. Oops. Okay, I've seen this one, I think. It's another scroll, small piece. Okay, this one. Yeah, his green and blue. We call the small green and blue. So it's, green and blue in this style does not cover the ink. You still see the ink work. It's guest, supporting role in terms of the color intensity. So we still consider this as a Southern school. Only the grids, like a gold, blue, and red. That kind of, this has red in it, but this is small because they're not so green, not so opaque. It's more subtle. These are too small. Okay, that's the sample done by Shi Zhong, another Ming, early Ming actually is earlier than Dong Qichang, but he actually is a very good friend of Shenzhou, but Shenzhou's painting is much more educated and less wild like this one. Anyway, it's according to modern scholar Wen Fang. He's the Met director. In his book, he take this as a bad example for some reason. You may not agree, but it's still a nice painting. So, but not just as Dong Qichang's. I have never copied Dong Qichang, to be frankly, because when I was in college and the teacher really, I forgot who, when we learned the history, and his painting is described like as if you cut the tree in half, and you see the branches are in white, the trees in black. That's how it feels. So it's not really realistic, right? But when you get into more abstract art, and you will see why this painting it just free. When you see Bada Shanren, he does the same thing. and you realize, oh, that's a very important development, you know. And this are taken from the lecture by James Cahill. He mentioned his painting in one of his last lectures. And he considered himself, I mean, although he doesn't like Orthodox school, but he thinks Dong Qishan is by no means a copyist. He is a revolution. His title on Dong Qishan is creative imitation. And one Fang's title in the book of Images of Mind is the intuitive leap, right? So he transcends the tradition, not just transmit only. Okay, it's time to paint more. So I will send you the finished copy in email and on the website, and then I like to see yours when you're ready. Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next
Thank
week.
you, Henry.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Henry. Bye.
You.
Bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.